Welcome to Young Black Voices. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Young Black Voices podcast. I'm Jakaya.
And I'm Albert.
And we have a special guest today. We are here with Dr. Nicole Smith, the CEO of Kansas City Girls Prep Academy. Hi, Dr. Smith. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good. I'm good. Would you go ahead and, introduce yourself? Let us know who you are. Tell us about yourself.
Sure. This is my first year at Kansas City Girls Preparatory Academy in the role of CEO after being on the board for 2 years. I have been in the Kansas City area for 2007, so some people say that I can now consider myself a resident and not a visitor anymore. I'm the proud mom of 3 sons and a wonderful daughter-in-law. I recently completed my doctorate from Rutgers University in 2024. I also have an MBA from Rutgers University. My undergrad degree is from University of Florida. Go Gators, the national basketball champions for the year. And I have also a master's in curriculum and instruction.
Congratulations.
One, thank you so much for that bio.
Yeah.
But one thing that I really want to know is what got you started on your journey in education?
That is a great question. I have wanted to be an educator since I was a teenager. Well, even a preteen. I used to line stuffed animals up and play school with them. I'm the oldest grandchild from my family, and I always led summer school with my younger cousins. I'm a natural educator. I went to college. My undergrad degree is in journalism because at that time, education wasn't a cool career. And so I went out and wanted to do something cool, but and education is cool. I wound up coming back to education after getting a degree in journalism. So I've had a passion for education probably as long as I can remember, and subliminally, it's always what I've wanted to do.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, that's great. I kind of want to know what got you to an all-girls prep school.
Well, when we moved to Kansas City in 2007, my oldest son started attending Rockhurst High School, which is an all-boys school.
Yeah.
And he made such a great impression there that the leadership came up to me and said, "You're a teacher, aren't you?" And I said, "Yes." And they said, "What would you think about working here?" So I worked for 13 years at an all-boys school, and Dr. Shabami Washington, who is the president of St. Teresa's, asked me if I would consider changing genders and bringing my expertise to St. Teresa's, which is an all-girls school, so I wound up working there. So actually, I guess having 3 sons and the son attend an all-boys school started me on that trajectory of single-gender education. So I worked in boys' schools and girls' schools.
Amazing. That's amazing.
Now, one thing I do want to know, what is it about single-gender education that really pulled you in?
So for girls in particular, it gives women an opportunity to develop their voices. I don't want to sound stereotypical, but we are in a patriarchal society. Mm-hmm. Men are given a lot of credit just because of their gender, and it takes some women a little encouragement to use their voices and feel confident in using their voices. So single gender schools give girls the opportunity to take all the leadership positions, excel in sports, do all the things without having to compete, or not even necessarily compete, but dim their lights because they want to impress young men. So that's the best thing about it, is it empowers young women. And if we can plant a seed while they're young, when they enter our world, because our world obviously is not single gender, they'll be confident. They will be able to think back to things that were put into them in middle school and high school, and hopefully just add more leadership opportunity, add more women to our leadership roles.
That's amazing. And I actually never thought about an all-girls school in that matter of like being able to not have to dim my light for men, because I've always gone to, public schools, guys and girls. And yeah, it was always a competition. I definitely remember those days. So that's a great way to think about it. I never thought about it like that. Wow. Well, since you mentioned, dimming your light, I actually would like to know more about what it's like for women in leadership positions.
Kansas City Girls Preparatory Academy strives to walk the walk and not just talk the talk. I am the CEO, and our 2 school leaders are also females. We really want our girls to see that leadership is possible, and they see it every day when they walk in the building. They walk in, they see a woman of color as CEO. They see 2 strong women. Our deans are also females. Most of our classroom teachers are. We really want our demographics to match our student demographics. We do have males because it's important for our girls to also have good role models and know how to respect male authority. But it's important that our students see that what we're teaching them is achievable and realistic.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, I want to say it's beautiful how you're expressing the passion that you have for education, you know, and I really want to know what experience in your life has shaped that passion most.
No one's asked me that question in a very long time. I wish I remembered her name, and had I known you were going to ask my question, I would have dug up one of my yearbooks. But when I was in 10th grade, my guidance counselor, and I went to PWI high school, but she was a Black woman, pulled me into her office and said, I see something in you and you're gonna go to college. I'm a first gen, so my mom didn't finish college, neither one of my parents, but anyway, so my parents had already set that standard for me, but having that 10th grade guidance counselor almost guaranteed that I was gonna go to school, put that passion in me and just confirmed it. But having parents, my parents really hold education in high esteem, and I think really since I entered the world, it was expected of me to finish college and to get a degree and just to start a new legacy and a new path for our family. Now, of course, I have other people, my mom's younger sister and other people, but at that time when I was born, no one in her lineage had finished college.
Wow. Yeah, I heavily resonate with that. I'm a first gen student myself. No one, not a cousin, an aunt, or an uncle has gone to college. And my mom, education is really important to her, especially since she didn't go. She strives for me to finish. We got 1 year left. We out of here. Thank God. I do kind of want to touch on though, because you mentioned that you went to a PWI, but did you say it was your principal?
My guidance counselor.
Guidance counselor, yes. She was a Black woman.
Yep.
How important is that to have not just women in leadership, but women of color in leadership to you?
Representation matters. And like I said, we strive here to show our girls that what we're telling them, we want you to see it.
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't really thought about it, but I would go to her office a little bit just to talk to her and spend time with her. And it was nice to have someone that understood hair and all the things that maybe other people didn't understand. So it's just nice to be able to have someone that understands you, and you don't have to give them too much background that they can pick up and finish your sentences. So it is important. School is stressful, as you both know. And so whenever you need to decompress, it's always helpful to decompress with someone that understands your experiences.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah.
Dr. Smith, since we're on the topic of representation, can you tell us a little bit about your time with Blaque AC?
Yes. So I know Dr. Kokithia Hill, we are in a sorority together, and she mentioned the idea of having a charter school board draft. And in my previous experience with Rockhurst and St. Teresa's, both of those schools had a board. And the schools are fantastic. They've been around for over 100 years, but I just felt like sometimes our board members weren't in tune with what happened in the classroom. So I approached Dr. Hill and I said, I'd love to be a part of your draft. I feel like as a teacher, my voice is important and would help whatever charter school, whatever school that I was placed on, because I just don't think teacher voices are acknowledged and represented on board. So that was my motivation for going through the process of school board training with Blaque. I wanted to be a respected member of a board, not just someone to check the box. Oh, we have a teacher on the board. I wanted to be a teacher that knew how boards ran, understood policies, finances, all the things. So it was important that I get trained so when I could be a value add to a board. And so Blaque provided the opportunity for me.
Now, I'm gonna ask, I don't know exactly what all a board handles, so can you just give me like a quick rundown of what a board?
So the board approves policies, and we're towards the end of the school year now. We're revising our faculty handbook, we're revising our student handbook. We're gonna do a bylaws review because we haven't done that in a while. So the board sets the foundation for the school. The board also looks at our finances. At every board meeting monthly, we do a finance review. So we have a finance board. The finance board looks at our check register and all the things, and I present it to the board meeting. And we want to make sure that we're staying in budget if we need to adjust our spending and whatnot. At KCGPA, I require one member of our administrative team to attend the board meeting, and they present also, so they give the administrative perspective, because as I said, my whole point of being on a board was to make sure that teachers' voices were heard. We have a committee that not every school has. We have a faculty liaison committee. So one of our board members meets monthly with our teachers, and the teachers get to express their concerns and even their concerns about me. But so they'll know that people are listening to them at the board level. So we also have public comment where anybody from the public, we have to post our board times, and you can come in and chat with us about your concerns, thoughts, questions for the school. If we have to have an executive session, most of the time is to discuss a discipline matter or a personnel matter. What else do we do in board meetings? Finances, teacher voices. We are part of the Kansas City Go Bond, and so we spend a lot of time talking about the whole bond process. So basically the board looks at the school from all different angles, and they're the final decision makers.
Well, you mentioned that you were a board member and now you are a school leader. Could you kind of, connect the dots there on how that happened?
Sure, I was on the board for 2 years, about to start my 3rd year, and KCGPA, the plan was to add a grade per year, and we got to 9th grade. In 9th grade, our numbers weren't right where we wanted them to be as far as attendance, and we were spending a lot of money. We also wanted our girls to have a really robust experience. We wanted them to be able to join a marching band or be in a theater production instead of having to outsource this by saying, well, you can go to this school and do that. So we made the decision as a board, and I was part of that board, to pivot and not continue with high school. So now we're a 5th through 8th grade school. In that time, the previous board chair, the founding CEO, had some family things come up and thought that it would be a good time to pivot. And because of my experience as an educator, I was recommended. The board had the vote, and I was interim from June through November. So I was interim CEO for 5 months. And then the committee that was assembled that had faculty members, administrators, and board members voted to take the interim tag off, and here I am.
Wow, that is amazing.
So my experience with Blaque opened the door for this opportunity in my mind.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations for that.
Thank you.
I kind of, just speaking on, how that title has now changed, from interim to complete. What is some advice that you would give other Black women looking to step into leadership while also in education?
The normal pathway for teachers is, to be in the classroom and then move up the ladder, however your school has a vice principal, principal. But just be involved and be active. I was flattered that the board appreciated my work. I only missed maybe 1 meeting a year. So just be present and get to know all the stakeholders. I was able to connect with teachers because I was a classroom teacher when I was on the board. But I was on the board. I also attended community events, so I had a little bit of a rapport with some of the students and some of the parents too. So just making sure that you immerse yourself in the environment that you're in, not just one part of it, but making sure that people from different places know who you are, know your name. Do a good job too. Show up when you're going to be there. When you make a contribution, try to make a good contribution.
Right. Wow, yeah, that networking piece is so important. You never know who somebody else knows, so hey.
Never know.
Literally.
Okay, now, word on the street is Kansas City Girls Prep is turning things up, doing things a little differently. Okay, so can you share how this school supports the whole child?
Yes.
And not just education?
We do so many things. On our staff, we have a social worker and a counselor to make sure we're meeting our girls' social emotional needs. But even though we took a pause and we're not adding a high school, we still want to make sure that our girls are high school graduates and go beyond. So we have something called Kansas City Girls Leadership Institute, KCGLI, and that is for any girl that completes 8th grade at KCGPA. They can come back, and right now it's quarterly, but they come back and meet with the administrator of that program. She does grade checks to see how they're doing in high school, because we still want to know that we want our students to know that we care about your grades. She checks on their what they do in school. Are you involved in a club, band, track, some type of team? Because we want to make sure that you are immersing yourself in part of the program. We also do some tutoring, and then former teachers, teachers from KCGPA come to those meetings to meet with them. When you advance through the program, other opportunities arise. All of our scholars that are in KCGLI have an internship this summer, and they have a paid internship this summer. We offer personal finance at KCGPA, And we will also talk to them this summer, the girls that have graduated from KCGPA or been promoted from KCGPA, on how are you handling your money, this internship money? Are you saving it? What are you using it for? If you have plans for college, are you putting some away for college? Speaking of that, we have a generous donor that there are a lot of, there's a lot of criteria, but KCGLI students have an opportunity to earn a $10,000 scholarship upon high school graduation. That $10,000 can go to a four-year college, a community college, a trade school. So we, like I said, we want to make sure that we are taking care of the whole child, as you said, also that we don't abandon you. Just when you leave 8th grade, we don't say, thank you. It was great having you here. We want to make sure you're successful in high school. We want to make sure that you have a plan for after high school. Additionally, we know that college, you guys know, college is really expensive. So we have a donor that is offering $100 for our student per year for a 529 plan. And we're rolling that out in August so back to school night, parents will get that information on that. And we have extras. So you'll get the $100 for the year, but then we have, I think, $25 incentive for your grades and then other things. And the maximum amount is if you got every donation that we could give to you in that 529 plan. When you finish high school, you'd have about $2,000 for your college expenses. So if you qualify for the $10,000 from our donor and all the money that we give you for a 529 plan, you could leave here with $12,000. And that's not a coincidence. $1,000 per year in school is what we want.
Wow, yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, if I had that coming from Lincoln, then things would be a whole lot easier right now.
Right. If you don't mind me asking, what is a 529 plan?
It is
Exactly.
a college savings plan that has some tax. That's great. That's a great question. I don't know all the details. It is a college savings plan, and it has some tax benefits. Grandparents, parents can contribute to it, and you can only use the money for college.
Okay.
It's for higher education. So like I said, trade school or community college or four-year college, but it is a college fund. Basically, it's a college fund with some tax benefits.
Okay. That makes sense. How does the 529 plan and financial literacy become part of your school's model? Like, how did that happen?
Because we want to make sure that we're serving the whole child, and it was very intentional. We didn't want to say, we want to get you academically prepared so you can go to college, but figure out how you can go to college. We want to get you academically prepared. We want to get you financially prepared to help you. Now, we're not at a spot where we can give out four-year scholarships, but if we can, hopefully, our hope is that you'll be involved in an activity that might have a scholarship piece attached to it. Your grades might have a scholarship piece attached to it. And with the money that we give you, and then we give you paid internships, you have a nice nest egg to help you get through a year, maybe 2 years of college. We have a board member from one of our local community colleges on our board, and we're trying really hard to maybe figure out a way where we can have a pathway that they go there. And I don't know if it's a scholarship or not, but we really do want to make sure that if we're preparing you for something, that we are fully preparing you, not just lip service, but we want you to be successful. We want to break cycles of poverty, systemic issues, and we want to make sure that you're prepared to do that so you can be a change maker and that you can help someone else do the same when you're done.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Representation matters.
It does.
Yeah. So I want to know, how would you say that the diverse team that you've built and the diverse leadership that you're heading, how is that impacting the students and families?
When we walk in the door, the students definitely appreciate seeing students. This is a silly story. I've got to come up with a better story, but I became CEO this year, and the girls were kind of checking me out, and one sixth grader came up to me and said, "What's the CEO do?" And I told her a couple of things, and she just gave me this blank stare like, none of that matters. And I said, "I pay the bills." And she was like, "Okay." And so a couple of days later, within the same week, she was in the hallway with a girl who was misbehaving a teeny tiny bit. And the first scholar said to her, "Straighten up, that's Dr. Smith." And the girl looked like, "So?" And she said, "Dr. Smith pays the bills." And the other girl immediately straightened up her back, and she was like, "Ooh, she pays the bills." So just letting the girls know that I have responsibilities, and I have big responsibilities, because they want to come to school and have air conditioning when it's hot outside. They want to have lights on, and so they're like, this woman makes this possible. They also have school leaders that are females, and you don't go to a man to get disciplined or academic help. We have women that do that, so they know that any of my needs can be met by a female.
Wow. Yeah, that is amazing. And coming from a single parent household where my mom is my rock. It's great to see so much female representation around here for women like that, or the girls like that who are going through life with, a single mom or even like a single dad and just not having that female representation in their life. They get to come here and see you do all these amazing things. Keep the lights on in here. So yeah, that is amazing.
We also want our girls, and I think I already said this, to have a healthy respect, but we also want them to see men in leadership and not be afraid.
Yeah.
So we do have males on staff, and we're
Yeah.
intentional about that too. And it's not in the traditional roles, they're in the classroom. We do have one on our discipline team, but one of our ELL teachers is a male. Our financial literacy teacher is a male. We have a humanities teacher. So we have men in the classroom too, because we want our girls to see men in roles outside of the ones that are stereotypical disciplinary.
Right. Yeah, I get that.
All right, so you've mentioned all these great things that you're doing here, okay? And as college students who are looking to get into education, how are ways that we can help out the mission?
Easiest way is you can volunteer. I know that transportation could be an issue, but if you have access to transportation, we'd love to have you volunteer either in the classroom as an assistant to a teacher or help do some stuff behind the scenes is one way. We'd love for you to consider us when you get to your student teaching part of your collegiate career. If you're in education, we'd love for you to come and be a student teacher. And then of course, we'd like for you to consider us when you start looking for a job. We'd love to have you here. As we grow, we want to grow with you. Finally, if you're from the Kansas City area and you know people that have girls in between the ages of 5th and 8th grade, send them our way.
That's amazing. Yeah. How can the community as a whole, kind of help you all to stay tied together?
Visit our programs, throw in their support, volunteer. We've had a lot of organizations. We have a tutoring program that started this year, just with people that said, hey, we want to help. We don't know how to help. The money that we give might not do that much, but we have time. So if you want to tutor, like I said, if you have family members and they're in our age range of students, send them our way, but we'll find a way for you. You can help us move some furniture. You can donate stuff for Teacher Appreciation Week. There's always a way. We try our best not to turn away anyone that volunteers. And like I said, for people that said, money doesn't work, I can't do stuff during the day, but I can come after school. Okay, we're gonna start an after school tutoring program. Can you come? And now we have probably about 12 consistent girls that come in for tutoring, and our number of tutors is growing. So if you are interested, just contact us and we'll find a way that meets your schedule and that will help our school community.
And if they did want to contact you, where's a good place for them to contact you at?
Email me would be the best way, and it's a real easy email, nsmith@kcgpa.org. So N as Nancy Smith, the most basic last name in the whole wide world, at kcgpa.org.
Well, as we wrap up, I would love to know what's one message that you would give to the young women here who are wanting to continue their journey in education?
The sky's the limit. Don't stop. When I got my bachelor's degree from University of Florida, I thought I was done. I was very happy. I graduated, thank you, Lottie, and not cum laude, summa cum laude. And I never, ever thought I'd come back to school. So I want them to be open to possibilities. I want them just to have a growth mindset, that the sky's the limit, and don't let anyone tell you what you can't do. And don't let age or finances detract you. When there's a will, there's a way. And so that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to empower young women to be fearless.
Okay, now before we wrap up, is there anything that you would like us to know about KCGPA, anything going on in your personal life, or anything that you want any other viewers to know?
Personally, I would love to encourage people, the same thing I say for my students, just be fearless. I started my doctorate as a very seasoned person. I don't want to give you my age. So don't let age hinder you. Don't be afraid to try new things. Be committed to lifelong learning. So I would say that for my students and for adults. And for the community is come check out KCGPA. We started in 2019 and the pandemic interrupted our progress. And so we feel like we're still in startup mode. So we're here. The pandemic did not halt our progress. Even though we're not having a high school for right now, we have a school. So some people were confused and they thought that when we closed the high school, we closed the entire school. So just come check us out. We are here, we're thriving. We'd love to have you join us in whatever capacity. Send a student, volunteer, support us financially. We have a big gala. It's called Leading with Love, so check us out and support that. But you're not just supporting KCGPA, you're supporting the community, because what you're doing for our girls will benefit our community.
Well, as we close, I would just love to thank you for, opening up your school, and just being, honest with us about everything, talking to us. Having this interview with us was amazing. And I feel like I've gained a lot of knowledge, honestly.
You're welcome. Thank you for the opportunity.
And thank you everybody for tuning in to Young Black Voices. Please tune in with us next time for another episode.